Let's get all sorted. I'm James.
And I'm Jeff. Today we ask, does Lego know no noses?
As always, if you want to check out links to everything we're talking about here today, head over to breakingdads.com.
Breakingdads.com?
Breakingdads.com.
You can also leave us comments there, or you can find us on Twitter. I'm at Still Sorting.
And please rate us on iTunes. Help other people find out about this podcast. We've been hearing that people are doing it, and hopefully it helps.
Yes, we appreciate it.
It's awesome. So today's episode, Jeff.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about something that I feel very confident in saying no other Lego podcast or blog has ever looked at, or at least not in the detail we're going into today. Today, we're digging deep on Lego noses. Now, before you start to ponder why we would ever pick noses to discuss, let me assure you, there's more to this topic than meets the eye.
Nice. You squeezed in as many bad jokes. I love those.
Oh, no, you used to see the cutting room floor. There was a lot of terrible.
There's many pick noses all over the place.
I really obsessed over the pick noses idea.
Well done.
As my parents would say, that's a skill set I have from youth.
Excellent. Well, did you strike gold?
That's a good question, and I'm glad you asked. But first, before we talk about Lego noses specifically, let's just talk about
I think most people don't think of noses when they think of Lego.
No, because Lego themselves made a very conscious decision when they were coming up with the Lego minifigure aesthetic. As we discussed on our Lego minifigure episode, the first minifigures didn't have any faces or even separate arms or legs, for that matter. When the first modern minifigures appeared in 1978, they all had the same generic face with 2 black dots for eyes and a simple smile. Right? So I think they thought, what's the most basic face you can make?
I think the smiley face icon, doesn't it come out of the 60s?
And so the late 60s, early 70s, right?
Kind of playing off of that.
I think so.
It's like a hyper-simplified form, but it's almost universally recognized.
Yes. And all minifigures were yellow, which it was common for the smiley face to be yellow as it was.
It was, yeah.
And I think it's that combination of a bright yellow face with the generic and simple smile. I think they did that so that each minifigure could represent anyone in children's play. So, you could say that minifigures were beyond race or classification, but were meant to be as interchangeable as the blocks they came with. Right? So a nice philosophical decision there.
Yeah.
But then in 1989, things began to change as minifigures began to acquire more facial details. Now, part of that is because the printing got better.
Yeah.
So that helped. Technology advanced. Maybe now you'd have some stubble for a beard, or you'd have an eye patch. But the eyes and mouth still stayed the same. You had the simple dots, the simple smile, and there was never a nose to be seen. And that stayed for a long time. However, recently, Lego released the Friends line with the mini doll. And all mini dolls have cute little button noses, which is maybe an issue for another day. Although people tend to fixate a lot less on the noses of the mini dolls and more of the other anatomical decisions they've made.
I wonder if they looked weird without the little noses.
I think if you're going to give them breasts and hips, it would be really weird to omit a nose at that point.
That was probably late in the conversation. Should we give them noses, gentlemen and lady over there, helping us make the decision? Yeah, it seems
They spent $12 million and they got a report that says, girls want noses.
It's bizarre. Obviously they should have noses.
Yeah, I think because they were getting genderized and also a more finished human form.
Yeah,
I guess. But anyway, beyond all that, during some random research, I saw a standard minifigure head with a printed nose. And it got me wondering, how many minifig heads have a nose?
Yeah. I'd be struggling to think of many.
Yes. I was surprised to find the one. So now to find out how rare minifigure noses are, you would have to check every Lego minifigure head ever made. Now Bricklink lists 1,768 different minifig heads, and you'd have to be some sort of obsessive compulsive geek to go look through that many images looking for tiny noses to appear.
So how long did it take you?
Well, yeah, a long time. Longer than I would like. It was It was a lot like mining, I think, as we go back to the nose issue. It was a lot like mining, as of those 1,768 minifigure heads, only 91 had anything close to representing a printed nose.
Huh.
Now, 43 of those printed noses were from the Chima line, which is, I find weird. They print, they're just printed versions of the masks that go over the minifigures' heads. And I included bird beaks in this number because I thought what's a beak but a bird's nose, really.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it's kind of weird. They go into really detailed prints with eyes, nose, mouth for a figure that's meant to have a mask go over top of that.
I guess it's more awesome when you pull the mask off.
I think they also know children lose the masks.
Right.
And so it's like they still want that to be Laval the lion, even if they don't have the headpiece.
That's totally valid.
Yeah. Because... Again, it is a toy for children.
There's a number out there they have at Lego headquarters of the median time that the accessories last.
Yes.
It's about 7 minutes.
It depends on the kids. But of my 3 kids, one of them can lose everything quickly. He'll be playing with a minifigure, and I'll look over and I'll be like, why does he have one hand and no arms? It's just a hand sticking into the hole. It's like, how did that happen?
I invested in screw boxes for them.
Yes, just to put everything in.
Container for sorting. I was like, here you go. Here's your stuff, and here's your container. Keep it in the container, please.
And they keep it in the container, don't they?
Separate bits. Yeah. There's his hands. There's the container of hands.
Yeah. So that was fun to go through all that.
Yeah.
To get so 43 we throw out because I'm not going to count Lego Chima because it's hidden, and also they're animals. They're not humans. So of the remaining 48 minifig heads. After you take Chima out, it breaks down as follows. 19 of them are aliens, mutants, or monsters. Okay, so you get some mutants like mutated Dr. O'Neill from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You get Man-Bat and Red Skull, which are both villains in the superhero lines. Then you get some monsters, like the troll from Harry Potter, the vampire bat, a pharaoh, which I find weird. That it's like if you go in a sarcophagus, you get nose holes. I don't understand that, but you get a werewolf, and you get 2 different Lord of the Rings orcs and goblins from Lord of the Rings. Both of those have noses, which I think makes sense because it helps them look less human.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's what exactly the noses used to make them look less human.
Yeah,
which is it's an interesting idea. They're working backwards.
I guess, because it's like once you've established this is what a Lego human looks like, no nose, by giving them a nose.
Look at that ghastly thing on its face.
Yes. But to me, the weirdest of the monsters, and I put them under monster because I didn't know where else to put them. They added a visual nose on a character that's famous for not having a nose, and that's Voldemort from Harry Potter. They have 2 different versions of him. One he's the back of the head of Quirrell.
Oh, right.
Quirrell?
Quirrell. Yeah.
Quirrell, yes.
And then the nose slits.
And I think it's hilarious that, all the jokes about Voldemort not having a nose, and then in Lego, he has a more prominent nose.
Than most.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Voldemort without nose slits.
No, I agree. It would just be weird, creepy eye guy, and that's not quite the same thing. And then all the rest are Star Wars aliens of that group. So you've got Savage Opress, and you've got 3 different versions of Darth Maul. Now, I think in those cases, it's not so much that they have a nose. It's just that Darth Maul's makeup changes direction on his nose on the human. And then so when you apply that to a flat face, it gives the appearance of a nose.
It's like negative space.
Yeah. Huh. So I included it on the list because I'm like, well, it looks like a nose.
Right. It suggests one at least.
Yeah, but it's really just painting on there. But he's on there because, if you're looking through 1,700 and you've got that few that you find, you're concluding anything that comes close to a nose. And then you've got Zam Wessel and Kithaba. And then a brand new one, the Resistance Ground Crew, is another alien that has an alien nose on their alien face. So that's fun. And then the next big group is skulls or skull masks, and there's 15 of those. And this I find odd as well. Now, so the very first skull appeared on the very first skeleton, which was released as part of the Pirates line in 1995. I think Pirates gets all the first changes to faces.
It seems like it.
Yeah. Every skeleton that Lego has ever made featured some sort of nose on the face, and I find that really odd because almost no minifigures have a nose. So that brings up the question, just whose reanimated corpses are these?
Maybe minifigures, they have noses, but they're very discreet. They're so low profile that you just don't even see them.
I just find it weird
they cast no shadow.
That because with the nose you've got cartilage in front of the holes, which you get when you turn into a skull. Yeah. Does that mean like a minifigure, do they have like a soft spot like the top of a baby's head,
exactly.
but it's just where their nose would be? Is that?
I think so.
Are they just breathing through like a membrane of thin skin?
Blowhole.
Yeah. I find that it's just fascinating to me. But I mean, you know, I guess if you took the nose out of a skull, it doesn't look like a skull anymore.
Yeah, no, that's it. It would just look weird.
Yeah.
They must have done it and thought, no.
It's not right.
It's not right.
Let's add a nose.
Yeah.
So that's the next big group. Now we get into some very small groups. 4 of the minifigure heads with noses are just meant to represent non-skull-like masks. So 2 of them are samurai masks that come from the Ninjago line, General Kozu, and then there's a head that's shared by the scout or swordsman in that line. And so they look cool. They're very stylized samurai type looking masks. One is a Death Eater mask from Harry Potter, which makes sense because it looks kind of Voldemort-y.
Yeah.
And then one is from the Lego Drome Racers line, which is a weird line because they have minifigure heads that go on the cars, but no minifigures themselves. So I don't know what that's about. And it's a balaclava or a ski mask, and it's got cutouts for the eyes and a cutout for the nose. So there's actually not a nose shown. Right. There's just negative space where the nose would be,
which supports your thin membrane blowhole theory.
Yes, it does. Yeah, he's like, I would like to wear the ski mask when I'm racing or the flame retardant thing, but I still need to breathe through my mesh. Like,
is all really beginning to suggest to me that when we watched the Lego movie, it should have been more like, "Hey Jeff, over here." Yeah, just guys. Everyone should have been so stubbed up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That would have been. It would have been interesting to hear Morgan Freeman do that. I'm not going to attempt the voice.
I considered it briefly and thought, no.
That is way outside of my skill set.
No.
Looking at minutia on Lego, yes, I've got that. Morgan Freeman impersonations, no.
Morgan Freeman with a cold.
Yes.
That's, again.
There's someone out there that can do that. Yes. So those are the masks. And then 2 of them come from SpongeBob sets. So one is the Flying Dutchman, and he has a very stylized large nose, which they sort of paint on the minifigure crookedly coming down to his mouth. It looks like the cartoon, but it also doesn't. Like, if you looked at it as a flat image, you go, oh, that's a drawing of the Flying Dutchman. But when you wrap it on a Lego head, you go, what's going on with that guy? And then the other one is Squidward, which I think doesn't look anything like Squidward because Squidward has a huge nose, and they've drawn a huge nose on. And again, you just look at it and you go, I guess it's Squidward-like.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
I think there's a reason that Lego doesn't have the SpongeBob license anymore. And I don't know that they did a great job on it with figures like that. If they did it again, I think they do molded head pieces instead of minifigure heads for those characters.
That makes sense.
But no, now it's all what's that Canadian company? Totally lost it. Mega Bloks.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's all Mega Bloks. That's how little
you blocked it out.
Yeah, like all clone brands of Lego, I just try to push it aside and never look at it. Yeah. So we're getting down now to just a few heads left. So 2 of the remaining heads with noses on them are clowns, and they have clown noses, which makes sense because clowns don't look like clowns. They look like, I don't know, mimes, I guess, if you take out the clown nose.
Yeah.
Again, though, since they are minifigures dressed as clowns, I'm guessing that they have to just glue the clown noses directly onto that thin membrane they breathe through.
That sounds painful.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe it like filters things even more. I really don't know.
How often do they tear the thin membrane off when they pull the nose?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's all very...
If you're a Lego clown, you are dedicated to your craft.
That nose ain't coming off.
Yeah, it's a weird... But it makes, again, if you take the nose away, it's like...
Yeah, it's not a clown.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, that guy needs to get some sun. And then one of the remaining ones left That was a great sentence. One of the remaining ones left. I hate when I'm glad I'm never redundant and use redundancy to be redundantly. Anyway, the one of the weirdest heads with a nose is from a Toy Story set. And it's from a head that also doesn't have a body. It's part of this dump truck toy that Lotso uses to get around the school.
That is ironic you just said the word dump truck, because literally I can hear the dump truck out in front of my house.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, they hear the doot, doot, garbage pickup. So sound effects were provided by reality.
Municipal sound effects.
Yes, thank you.
You know, when you tune into the All Sorted...
very well. That's what we give you.
All Sorted, we're about giving you more. Fixating on it and talking about it for 20 minutes too is, I think, what our audience wants.
Absolutely.
Tell me more about this truck, James. Going back to this weird head. So it goes in the cockpit of the truck, and it represents like a child's toy that has the head and no rest of the toy. I don't know. But what's weird about this one is while it has a nose, it does not have a mouth. So that's a weird bit of weirdness from a weird toy from the Toy Story line. So that's it. That's only with 5 minifigure heads left. And these are the only 5 heads they've ever done that represent a normal, non-mutated, non-monster, living human that has a printed nose.
It's a lot of qualifiers.
It is a lot of qualifiers. But that's it. And all of them come from 1996 or 1997, and they're all part of either the Cowboys or Indians theme.
Native Ligonians.
Native Ligonians.
Yes.
Yes. First Ligonians? Is that?
First, however you want to say it.
I don't know.
Respect.
But it's weird. Yeah.
They share kind of some similarities.
Well, because it's not just the nose. They also have more detailed eyes with eye whites and pupils.
Right.
Which looks weird. So you get the outline of the eye with the white space and then the black dot inside of it.
Was that some kind of war reference or something? I don't even know what that is.
Maybe because it was Cowboys and Indians. Maybe it's like don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes. But I don't think that's from. Was it War of Independence? Yeah.
Something. So yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's a weird.
But again, who knows the person at Lego.
What it does show is that in 96, 97, they had not written out what a minifigure face is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Or it could be because, Lego often maintains that they chose yellow so that they could be all races. When it comes to Indians, and again, these are Lego's terms, what they're making, they have a weird history because they did the red Indians, which were the first Lego pieces with race.
Right.
And then now in the Indian set, it's like, let's make them look different. We'll give them noses. We'll give them shaped eyes. And it's weird. I don't know.
Europeans. I'm just going to go with that.
There's a weird relation between Europeans and First Nations people because
they don't have them.
Well, yeah, and they have them, but they killed them all way long ago. But they just have that romanticized image, right? Because it's all from the movies and the books, and it's not. Yeah, it's not like that's that guy that lives down the street. Like it's a very different thing.
The other.
So of all the 5 figures, one of them is a cowboy. Well, I guess he's not a cowboy; he's a bandit. He's a villain, a bad guy. And he has the eye whites, like we said, as well as the nose,
the furrowed brow.
Yeah, it's a very furrowed brow. It is.
He's angry,
and I'm pretty sure his nose looks very Owen Wilson-y. It's got that. It looks broken for sure.
He's been hit.
Yeah.
I guess the idea that the nose is what they're showing is just a shadow, so it's hard for them to. Yeah, how do you define the nose on other than that little nub, like giving a cutesy little nose? It's like, and that wouldn't work for the character.
No.
So you kind of have to go for the flattened nose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
There's a lot of months of art went into that.
It is odd that the bandit is the only minifigure in the Cowboys theme to have a nose and the eye whites.
Huh.
On the other hand, the 4 remaining are from the Indians theme, and oddly enough, all the minifigures in the Indians theme had a printed nose and eye whites.
Huh.
So I don't know what that means. Are they trying to imply that the bandit from the Cowboy set it has some sort of First Nations heritage?
Could
maybe.
Be. Yeah.
I don't know. But Lego and race is weird. It's a very weird relationship.
Yeah.
And this is another weird example of that.
It is.
All through noses.
So there must have been some interesting stuff when you went and Googled Lego and noses.
Well, I will say, do not Google Lego noses. All it does is bring up a list of scary stories and horrific images.
Yeah, no.
Now, once again, I've done the dirty work, so you don't have to.
So what am I going to see?
So if you were to not heed my advice and Google Lego noses, you would get a lot of links to parenting blogs, as they have plenty of tips and tricks to help you remove Lego from kids' noses.
Oh, God.
From vacuuming them out to tweezers to probably the best advice. Go to the emergency room because you are not a doctor and you'll probably just get it stuck further up their nose.
And vacuum cleaner doesn't sound like a good idea near a child's
I don't think
nasal.
vacuum cleaners, but they sell like the suction things where you press and then it suctions out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for cleaning
like those
nasal
booger
ca-
suckers.
Exactly, booger suckers. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but again, plan A is don't have your kids shove something up their nose.
That's a good plan.
Yeah, and plan B is let the professionals take it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you can't.
They've got the special tweezers.
That's right, and lights, and and also if someone's gonna hurt
wrong.
your child sticking something up their nose, it shouldn't be you that they have to look at every day.
Exactly. Don't ruin Lego for your kid.
Yes.
Let a doctor ruin Lego for you.
I was a little disappointed because I was hoping, I trust in the internet. I have a lot of faith in the internet, and I was hoping to find somewhere, and I looked long and hard for some sort of statistic on how many emergency room visits result from somebody sticking Lego up their nose, and I couldn't find any stats, and it made me sad.
That's surprising.
Yeah, because usually, even fake stats or a guesstimate or something.
Like
no,
Fox News would have had a story about this.
exactly. But no, nothing. Now, I did. Where we go? I found an article from the Chicago Tribune in 2012 with the following little nuggets from Dr. Michael Pitt, the director of the Pediatric Convenient Care Clinic at Lurie's Children's Hospital, Chicago. And I think these are some phenomenal, some great reporting done here. Dr. Pitt says, I think there's a misconception that boys do this more than girls, but that's not the case. That would be sticking things up their nose. For items found in ears, it's equal between girls and boys. But for the nose, it's a 2-to-1 ratio girls.
What?
Twice as many girls are sticking things up their nose as boys.
That's bizarre.
Now, I have the 3 boys at home. You have a boy and a girl. So, I would watch her around the Lego.
Yeah.
Apparently, Pitt goes on to say, the most common things found in the nose are Barbie shoes.
Oh.
Yeah. Other popular items, according to Pitt and Powell, include Legos, which, again, I said that wrong, beads, seeds, coins, and erasers.
What?
Yeah, so I'm glad that it's not just Lego specific, because that would be terrible. And I think maybe the best article I'd read, and this was all over the place, so this had bounced. This is big news, made big news when it happened. There was a boy in Utah that had a Lego wheel removed from his nose after 3 years of sleeping and breathing problems.
This is a real thing.
Yes.
What?
3 years. And it was a Lego wheel surrounded by fungus. So it was, yeah.
So it was acted as a little filter.
Yeah.
That's just...
I don't know how thorough those doctors are. They prescribe many rounds of penicillin. What's that called? Antibiotics. There it is. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I know medical terms. Apparently all my words are just Lego related.
They have such an aversion to prescribing it here, I think, that you just block it out as a thing.
Yeah, I think that might be what it is. I don't know. But 3 years. So when he was 3 years old,
Wow.
he started developing trouble sleeping and trouble breathing. And they couldn't figure out. 3 years later, pull it out. Oh, look, it's this piece of Lego.
How did they not do with the... Maybe they just...
Because it can go far enough up into your cavity that you can't see it with a light, right? And I don't think they like doing x-rays of 3-year-olds' heads as a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I know, right?
I guess he wasn't able to adequately communicate at the point where he put it in.
And then you forget.
That put the thing in my nose.
Yeah.
Lego wheel. Why? Where's all the Lego wheels?
Plus he was a boy, so statistically the doctors knew it's much more likely.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah. So all of these intranasal Lego connections are why pieces like the minifigure head now have a hole on its top.
Right, exactly.
Because kids are going to stick them in places, and Lego would like them to still be able to breathe.
Thank you, Lego.
Yes.
That was very thoughtful of you.
Yeah. So I think we've gone as deep as we can on noses. So
We've traversed up the nose. Yeah.
We really have, and I hope you've stuck with us this entire podcast.
I'm learned a few things.
Yes, you'll amaze your friends with your knowledge of Lego noses the next time you see them. Anyway, if you found a nose printed on a standard Lego minifigure head that I've missed, I need to know about it.
Yeah.
And if you've ever gotten a Lego piece stuck up your nose, I don't need to know about it. But you can still leave us a comment
And
or
don't send him a picture.
or hit me up on Twitter. I'm at Still Sorting.
Oh, that's hilarious. And again, if you enjoyed this, please rate us on iTunes and help others find it and learn about horrible things.
Just think how fun it'll be to write an iTunes review revolving around plastic and noses. That's not on like a medical blog.
You don't get that opportunity often.
No. See the things we provide for you, the listener. Until next time, I'm Jeff.
And I'm James.